Okay, what's up, everybody? It's time for another Street Fight Club podcast. I'm EBar, and I'm here with my good friend, Finest Massey. What's up, Finest? How are you today?
I'm here, too.
You sure are, buddy. You sure fucking are.
That's my motto in life. I'm here, too.
Okay, so we usually talk about, kind of nerdy stuff on here, and so why don't we stay with that theme? So we're going to talk about some more recent superhero TV show / movie news. What do you want to start with there, Rhinoceros?
Well, I mean, it's been a hell of a week for comic book movie news. Let's start off with a big one. Hellboy rebooted. It's been since maybe 2008 was the last movie. Is that right? And with Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro.
Long ass time.
And it wasn't. People have been just really, really wanting to see a new one. I think the first two movies are great. I would say that they're two of my favorite comic book adaptations. I think Ron Perlman was perfectly cast as Hellboy, and obviously Mike Mignola not Mike Mignola. That's the guy who actually made Hellboy. Guillermo del Toro just has a fantastic eye for art. His set design, his creature design, like everything looks awesome.
Yeah, and I would agree. I don't think that they could have gotten a better Hellboy than Ron Perlman, especially during that time period.
He's just like a perfect embodiment. One of the problems, obviously, though, is that Ron Perlman, God bless him, is 67 years old, right. And it's going to be pretty hard to continue to be Mr. Action hero guy at 67 and put 6 hours worth of makeup on your body and do stunts or whatever. So I kind of get that they can't make another movie. But what really sucks is not even a year ago, I don't think, Guillermo got on to Twitter and did a poll to see what people thought about it, if they would be down for another movie. And obviously went off the charts. Everybody was excited. But it turned out to be another thing where Guillermo del Toro has like 100 irons in the fire or whatever. He's constantly working on stuff. But even after he did this little poll, not too long after that, he's like, well, sorry, folks, it's over. It's dead. And he didn't really explain why it was dead. But then, just a couple days ago, apparently we found out why it's dead. They're rebooting the whole thing through a new movie company with new producers, new star. They've already got an actor and a director attached. The director is Neil Marshall, which apparently he has directed several Game of Thrones episodes that he's won awards for. But his most famous movie is The Descent, which is that creepy fucking horror movie where they go down in the cave. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's
no.
It's pretty scary.
It sounds like As Above, So Below, and that can't be topped. So
I heard that was a bad movie. But
no, it was awesome and scary, real scary.
Well, anyway, they also have a guy set for Hellboy himself, and that is David Harbour. If you've watched Stranger Things, which if you haven't watched Stranger Things, you're a fucking moron because it's awesome.
You are a fucking moron. Like, no offense to anybody out there that's a fucking moron, but, you are, just so you know.
I wish Chad was on here right now so I could point out how ignorant he is for not liking Stranger Things, because that is a fantastic show.
Yeah, anyway, I'd love to know what the fuck he did. We should remember that topic and be like, why didn't he like Stranger Things?
It's a solid show. If you were a kid of the 80s and you watched any movies from the 80s, or if you watched any movies from the 80s, it's a pitch perfect show. Yeah. But anyway.
Great tone.
So the guy who plays the kind of drunken, well, he's not really a drunk, he's like a pillhead or something. Anyway, the sheriff, the actor's name is David Harbour. He is going to be Hellboy. Which, I mean, from watching Stranger Things, it looks like that guy probably has the right kind of attitude to be Hellboy. I mean, he's kind of got the gruff thing going for him. He seems like he could probably crack some jokes.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice. It's just always it's always a difficult transition whenever somebody has already played a character. Everybody that is a fan of this thing already has something set in their head of the way that things are supposed to be. So, you know, it's almost a lose-lose situation whenever you come into something like that, because people are going to criticize if it's, even if it's good, they'll be like, oh, well, it was good, but it wasn't this. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's like I just said, like not too long ago, people went nuts on the internet saying, yes, we would like to see another Ron Perlman Hellboy or whatever. Like, people still clamor for that. I went to Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. He had a huge line. People were constantly in his line, filling his line, wanting shit signed by him or to get a picture with him. He filled up a gigantic room for his panel. Like, people still love that version of Hellboy. I mean, this is still going to be... I mean, I know it was several years ago that it came out, but for a whole generation of people, that movie is still fresh on their minds.
And to be fair, a lot of the reason people were still so excited and still wanting one so bad was because periodically Ron Perlman would tease the shit out of his fans about there being another Hellboy. You know what I mean? So that just every time he says something, that reignites the fire. And, you know, to those people that have been on board for damn near 10 years now or whatever, you know, they may be upset about this reboot with somebody else, but hey, man, you know, you got to give it a chance. You can't just dismiss it with
Oh yeah, this is definitely not something I'm going to go in with ill thoughts. I mean, part of the whole reason that Hellboy is so cool is because it's a great character with great stories. And if this is what it takes to get more of that world, then I'm cool with that. Another thing to bring up about this new Hellboy movie is that they're going for this rated R, bloody, scary, more scary version, which I don't know. Did you ever read any of the Hellboy comics?
Not really. Not more than one or two.
I mean, they were pretty dark, but I think that the first two movies nailed it pretty well, like the tone and the way they are. I don't know if a rated R movie is going to add much to the series, because it's not like Hellboy's dropping F-bombs and grabbing girls' tits and stuff, or whatever the hell you do in a rated R movie.
You know, I mean,
I've never seen one.
People see the success of shit like Deadpool and Logan, and they're just like, you know, and you know, I don't know for sure, but they're probably just like, what superhero can we make rated R? You know what I mean? Like, that's probably going through their head, like, these rated R.
I mean, the character is like basically the devil. I mean, so I mean, he's a demon spawn or whatever. So I mean, it makes sense.
Hellboy,
but Hellboy looks great. So that's the biggest news I would say of the week. Just the last couple of days, a couple smaller pieces of news, which, depending on who you are, may be bigger to you or not bigger. What the hell is that?
And sorry, my phone's going off.
They just announced a Deadpool TV series because a second movie is not enough for us. With the creators of Atlanta, Donald Glover, the Gambino that you spoke of in the other episode, and his brother, Steve Glover.
Yeah, you know,
it's going to be on FXX cartoon.
FXX?
I should have mentioned that it's a cartoon series.
Yeah, animated. So, you know, this interests me, and I don't know how much Donald Glover is a fan of Deadpool. You know, like I've never really heard him talk about or mention Deadpool before, so you know, I don't know, but I feel like the show is definitely in capable hands, because, you know, I've said it several times, I'm a huge fan of Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, whatever you want to call him. I'm just a really big fan of him. I've loved Atlanta, and, you know, he's got so much shit coming up that it's almost a bummer, because I'm not going that, you know, his least important project is probably Atlanta, because that's all him rather than the studios and whatnot. But you know, I don't know. People are used to now. Some people probably went and saw the first Deadpool not even knowing who the fuck Deadpool was. I mean, he's a popular character, but he's not on the level of like Wolverine, Batman, anything like that. So, you know, some people probably saw that and were just like, damn, fucking Deadpool's really cool. And as much as you want to say, hey, it's cable, hey, it's FXX, it's still not exactly rated R. So, you know, I mean, you can push the envelope pretty far on cable, but I don't know if it's going to be far enough. But then again, it's not all about that. If the stories are entertaining, then it could be great. It's just really strange because I'm not aware of any other FXX shows that are primetime animated. And, you know, maybe there are some, but none that I know of.
The whole channel, though, is comedy, right? All of FXX?
All I really know that used to be on there was, like, The League, Always Sunny.
Man Seeking Woman.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just know the really popular titles that went to FXX from FX. So, yeah, I thought it was mostly comedy. And if that's the way that they're leaning, because, you know, Deadpool is a funny character.
It's got to be a comedy, man.
Yeah. But still, you know, it's Deadpool, so I still want to see some fucking badass action. And it's animated, so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah. Comedy-wise, I feel like it's in great hands. I don't know how... I don't know. He's a talented guy. The writing will probably be fine. My question is, and my worry is, when is too much Deadpool going to be too much Deadpool? Like, even watching the first movie, I'm like, this is really funny, but it skates a thin line where it's like, if they push this just a little bit more, I'd be like, what the fuck am I watching? Is this like there's a line between being really funny and being like a Pauly Shore movie or something.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think we may have even talked about that a little bit about whenever we were talking about the Deadpool 2 trailer. But it straddles a very, very fine line and pulls it off and kills it. But that's not to say that you can continue doing that, or even that the second movie will do that, let alone whenever you start throwing in an animated series on top of it. But to be fair, a lot of, like, you know, Avengers came out and there was an Avengers cartoon, and X-Men has had numerous cartoons over the years and all that shit. You know, I haven't really watched any of them since the 90s one, but, you know, I don't think that people will just be like, enough of Deadpool, fuck that. I don't think that will be the reason they wouldn't watch it. I think it's going to be totally based on really the quality of the show and on really how the first few episodes go, in my opinion. But, you know, who the fuck really knows?
The final piece of news is that Judge Dredd, who, if you're in our generation, will remember Judge Dredd as the I'm long guy, but is also a character that's been around since, what, like the 70s or 80s, probably the 80s, that's basically like in a dystopian future where cops are now judges, juries, and executioners, and they decide when they arrest you, you know, what your punishment is going to be and blah, blah, and a lot of times the punishment is murder. But there was a kick-ass movie a couple years ago that starred Carl Urban, who's plays Bones McCoy in the Star Trek movies. He's in a lot of other movies, but that's the only one I can think of right at the top of my head.
Well, you didn't even really see his face in that movie, did you?
No, I mean, you see his chin and his mouth.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, it's a great movie, and I don't know if he's the reason it's great. It might be great because it's written by Alex Garland of 28 Weeks Later and The Beach. Fame. But anyway, it's going to be made into a TV show. Like they've been hyping it up, trying to get a sequel for a long time, and that's not worked out. But now they're angling towards TV show, and it seems like something that could go either way. It could be a great TV show, or it could be a bad one. I mean, it's a good concept.
What network is it supposed to be?
No word. It might be something British because it's a British-owned property.
No kidding. I didn't even realize that. That's interesting. Anybody attached?
No, nothing. Just the only announcement is that they're developing into a TV show.
Interesting. Well, you know, it's got to be better than old Sly.
Which is, if you've never seen the Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, that has Rob Schneider in his heyday as a sidekick character. Which, like, how many movies is Rob Schneider like the sidekick character in?
Every movie except like The Hot Chick and Deuce Bigelow, I think.
Sylvester Stallone must have just really liked Rob Schneider, because isn't he the sidekick in Demolition Man too? That has Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah. What the fuck, Rob Schneider?
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
He's just lucky he's friends with Adam Sandler. That's all I can say.
Oh my god! Like I told you the other day that what was the Sandy Wexler or whatever it is that's on Netflix is okay. One of the worst parts is Rob Schneider's cameo at the end of the movie.
You know what's so funny is like I remember you telling me that. So the other night, like I pulled it up, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch some Sandy Wexler. Finally said it was decent, but you know whatever. Watched maybe 5 minutes of it, and then was like, let's watch The Wedding Singer, and turned on a good Adam Sandler movie.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you too, because whenever I said it was okay, I watched it over 2 nights, and it's only like an hour and a half long movie. Like I watched half an hour one night and then went to bed or whatever, and then watched the other hour the next day.
Well, you know, whatever it takes to make it through it, man. You know, I only watched 5 minutes, so it'll probably take me about a month to get all the way. But you know, Judge Dredd, it's something that deserves a chance, and if they don't fuck it up, it could be very, very good. But it's just really depends what take they decide to do, because like we said, there's been a shit version in the movies. There's been a badass version as far as movies go. So, you know, I don't know. It's not the 90s anymore, so hopefully they, you know, can stay true to it and do it justice. But I guess we won't know, and you know, more details will come as we get closer. But you know, I've got some pretty decent high hopes for it.
Well, we're definitely in a golden age of television right now, so that that helps. This isn't like a TV show coming out on NBC in '95.
You mean Friends, the highest rated show? No, but I know what you mean, man. Yeah, you know, it's not just some bullshit. You'd think that they wouldn't do it if they didn't plan on doing it well. So, you know, that's
you would think that, but Hollywood has fucked us over more than one time on that front.
And they will again many times. So, but yeah. So yeah, that's basically the superhero news and shit that we've heard recently. So let us know in the comments, what do you think about Deadpool, Judge Dredd, and Hellboy,
and the movie that they're all going to be in at the same time.
Yeah, the Hellboy Judge Pool.
Yeah.
Go see it. I mean, we're the ones writing it, so
comes out in July.
But yeah, anyway, check that shit out. Facebook.com/Street Fight Club Podcast. Go and give us a like. There's a bunch of information to follow us down in the description. And we'll see you next time. Chad Bryce still won't be here. Bye.
Please subscribe so he doesn't kill himself.
Yeah, if I don't get to 400 by like late July, see ya, and I'll give you 13 free subscribers.
Oh, what a horrible joke.
All right. Anyway, thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.